So I've been trying to make this video for 2 weeks now, and it's currently 5 a.m. I've been waiting until I thought I could feel better enough to get this out, to talk about how I've been and where I'm at when I was on the other side of things. And the more I've been thinking about that, the more I realize that kind of flies in the face of the purpose of which I'm doing these videos. These videos are not meant to necessarily be comfortable for me, but they're meant to be an honest accounting of what it's like living with severe anxiety and depression and PTSD, and what the process of getting help for that is like. I've had another appointment after a gap of about 2 weeks due to a holiday weekend. The nurse practitioner that was supposed to contact me about medication never did. And now my therapist has found out that the clinic that he works for has lost their person who does medication for now. And so I was told to go to my primary care physician, seek medication there. And I was hoping to be medicated and be monitored by someone who this was in their wheelhouse. And I'm sure that my primary care physician is a competent doctor, but they're not a mental health doctor. And so the process of something that I thought was already being taken care of, now I have to start in a different vein, has been unsettling. I talked to the doctor at this appointment, and, he asked me, as he normally does, what is your level of anxiety over the last 2 weeks? On a scale of 1 to 10, and normally, my answer is somewhere between a 6 and an 8. And I was able to say that for the first time in a long time that I was at a 3 to a 4. Up until a couple of days before the appointment, I hadn't been having those invasive thoughts about death and existence and all of those existential issues until about 3 days prior to my appointment, when I woke up in the middle of the night with those thoughts just flashed into my head for no reason, and hadn't been able to shake it since then. So we spent the course of that appointment again diving deeply into my beliefs and philosophies and all of the shit that triggers me, and got into it on such a microscopic level. And for the first time at the end of this appointment, I didn't feel relief. I didn't feel hopeful. The doctor seems to me to be confused because I'm not presenting as a typical anxiety sufferer, and seems to be unsure, or at least hasn't offered me an idea of what treatment's going to look like. And I think right now I at least need to see that the results I know are not going to be immediate, and that's okay. What I need, and I need to express this in my next appointment to him, is that I need to know that there's at least a light at the end of the tunnel, that there is a game plan that we're setting up here. And what is that going to look like? We talked about grief and the process of grieving and acceptance. And he wondered what the idea of radical acceptance would look like with the issues that I have. And I said, well, what does that mean? What, and he said that, well, say, okay, brain, thank you. I understand, that I'm going to die and that probably there is nothing after life. And you've informed me of this and I accept that. And now I need to think about other things or something. And I said, well, is this just a mantra you want me to repeat over and over again and to see if I actually someday will believe it? I said, because my problem is accepting these things in general, and that I see other people and they accept life at its core of what it is, with or without belief, and they seem to be fine with it, and I can't accept that. I don't understand that acceptance. And it's not my only issue. I mean, yes, this is how certain things present. The ontological anxiety is there, and it has been. But I have severe claustrophobia. I have memory loss. I have whole chunks of my life, besides the trauma. I remember the trauma, but I have whole chunks of my life that I don't remember. I have friends say to me all the time, oh, you remember when we went and did this thing and you said that thing and this thing happened and oh my God, wasn't that great? And I have no idea what they're talking about. My wife will say, oh, this thing happened early in our relationship or whatever and blah, 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 and we did this or that, or we had that fight but I don't remember any of it. I don't remember. I know that we went on vacations when I was a kid. Do I remember them? No. And so I have all of these other issues besides just this existential anxiety. I have my normal, just, everyday anxiety, this overwhelming sensation of dread that doesn't ever go away. And I have to distract myself constantly. And I tried to explain to the doctor that one of the biggest problems with this is the amount of time and energy that it sucks out of my life. That I spend so much of my time consumed by it or distracting myself from it that I could be spending that time and that energy on more important things. I could be creating new work. I could be working on projects that I've already started. I could be spending that energy and that time in relationships, caring about or spending time with the people that I love. And I feel like I'm being robbed of that. And I just don't know at this point what the end game is or the middle game of this is. He mentioned and talked about radical acceptance, but didn't really go into any level of detail of what that was or what that looks like or how that's going, how to do that. So I feel like am I left to research these things on my own, and maybe we're still in that early process of discovery and he's still working out what's going to happen. And it's not like I feel like this doctor's incompetent. I mean, I've been to incompetent professionals of different professions, and you can generally tell when somebody's got their shit together and when they don't. And I feel like this guy's got his shit together. He's an older guy. He's been at this a long time. I imagine he's been fairly successful in his career. And I know sometimes they say you have to meet several therapists before you find somebody that you really kind of click with. And I feel like we click. I mean, I feel like, I talk, he actively listens to what I'm saying. He's really trying to figure things out, but I just don't see where this is going. And maybe that's part of the process of it. I don't know. Going through this, I didn't know what to expect. And that part is what these videos are about, but I want to help people who are not seeking help for their mental health to seek help. So I don't want to say that, this is not working because I don't know what this is yet, because I don't know what the complete picture looks like. A really good friend of mine the other day said something to me that really stuck out. She said that dredging up all of this stuff and trying to process trauma in a time of extreme trauma must be very difficult. And I hadn't really thought about that, because I thought, the times we live in right now with this worldwide, we're going to call it the event because YouTube suppresses videos that use the actual words. So this worldwide event we're currently experiencing, I figured this was the time, because of the isolation and because of how this has been bringing up all these issues, that I needed the help the most. But I hadn't thought about having all of this brought back up, compounding on top of the experience of the event and its effect and the political situation in the United States is enough to throw anybody for a loop. And now with Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing and the implications of that, first of all, I don't want the politicizing of that to overshadow a life. She was an incredible human being who accomplished so many things. And it's sad that now, at her passing, that her death and her replacement in the court is going to have to be politicized. But these are the way of things. This is the way of things, right? But all of these things, all of these traumatic experiences that are happening right now are, I think, exacerbating everything for everyone. One thing I will say that I'm very grateful for is that I have been getting a lot of contacts from people. People that I know well, people I hardly know, and some that I don't know at all. And people have been contacting me about these videos, saying they felt that they've helped, or they appreciated them, or they've wanted to talk to me about their mental health issues. And that's awesome. And I appreciate that. And those conversations have helped me moving forward to wanting to keep going through this process. It helps to feel connected, because this year, as some of you know, and I don't know how much I've talked about this, but my day job is a full-time professional artist. And as such, the way that I sell my work is both online, through online retail, but a big chunk of my business is traveling to comic book conventions, Comic-Cons, pop culture cons throughout the country, and doing live appearances, setting up booth, meeting and greeting, selling my work. And I've met so many amazing people through the last 7-8 years of doing this. Made a lot of great friendships, made fans, met other amazing artists, gotten to meet celebrity. It's been an amazing job. But the event has put all of that on hold until who knows when. And so since February, whereas every other week of the year I would be traveling on the road, or every few weeks on the road, I am now at home, full time. A lot of people would take that opportunity to do the things that they wouldn't normally have time to do before. And for an artist such as myself, very small percentage of what I do is actually make art. I did a lot of that in the beginning when I first started the business, and I was trying to get a body of work built up. And I still maintain that by, creating new work from time to time to refresh my catalog or my portfolio. But the majority of what I spend my time doing is running my business, doing the online orders, updating listings, booking shows, booking travel, keeping up inventory levels, all the stuff you have to do to maintain a business. And so during this period of time, this would be the time that I had to create new work. What have I done? In terms of the amount of time I've had, very little. I've not been able to produce because I've spent so much of this time in a dark place. And I know musicians and comedians and a lot of other people, and during those times they use those things as inspiration to create work. And maybe if I was still doing like the comedy thing or whatever, maybe that would be the case. But the artwork that I do is, it's all based on like film and television and things that bring me joy and things that bring joy to others. And I just haven't been able to do that. So I feel like, and this is what I was trying to explain to the doctor, is that the amount of time and energy I spend on this illness, whatever they want to call it, is time that could be spent creating work. And I haven't been. Even working on these videos for the last 2 weeks. Because I've said, if I could show you the number of times I have started and stopped the camera over the course of the last at least week and a half. It is crazy. I wish sometimes that I could just plug the USB plug into my head and just let it transcribe my brain for you in its raw format. Because it would be easier than doing this. This has been really hard this time. And I don't know how this is going to come out. I don't know if this is going to be helpful at all in any way for me or for you. But I hope it is. There's so many things I want to say, but yet I don't know. But I don't know what they are. I feel it. I feel it in the back of my throat. I feel it in my head. But I can't quite get it out. I don't know what it is that I'm trying to communicate. I have slept very little, and like I said, I've been in a bad place, and so the point of all that, though, and the thing that I always will remember, is that what I am feeling now is temporary. I will not always feel this way. And if you are feeling any of these things, you will not always feel this way either. So the one thing, if there's anything that I want anybody to take away from any of these videos, is that no matter how cliche it sounds, it does get better. But I'm not going to lie. After it gets better, it's going to get worse. And then it's going to get better again. And then it's going to get worse. That is what life is. It is a series of ups and downs, whether that is test, whether it is just the nature of the universe. We are going to go through shit. It is going to tear us down. But it is never permanent. So, that being said, there is always some sort of light at the end of it. Hold on for that. And if you need help, if you want to reach out, there are places to go to get support. Hell, you can always contact me. I'm in a shit place, but there's room here for you too. So I appreciate everybody who's been sending me comments and support. For those who have contacted me at 3 o'clock in the morning, via Facebook and wanted to talk about this stuff, I'm here for you. I'm here for this because I know you're here for me too. So all of the love to you and the hope and want for your health. And I will see you next time. Hopefully it won't take me so long for the next video. But with these types of issues, who can say? But I appreciate you being here and I appreciate the support. Thanks so much. Till next time.